How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am back with another...
Lost Heroes of the... Wait a minute, wait.
What?
He's not a hero.
Well, he's kind of a hero.
No, he's not a hero.
Okay, well, he's an unseen presence.
Well, then call him
Okay.
that.
We are going to be covering a hero that...
Not a hero.
Okay, we're going to be covering a character that is an unseen presence in the stories. We're going to be covering a horror anthology. The character that we'll be reviewing is the Unknown, as he narrates the stories of...
Oh, I see now.
What?
He's just like me.
No, he's not like you, because we can see him.
Blah.
Can I finish with the intro?
Nice ambiance.
Yes, the ambiance is nice. Okay. We are going to be covering a horror anthology.
This is not horror.
What?
It's not horror.
Well, it wouldn't be horror to us. I mean, in the 1940s it was.
Uh-huh.
No. Okay, yes. By today's standards, it's not horror, but back then it was kind of horror. I mean, it's not zombies and Frankenstein's monsters and werewolf things, but it's psychological horror.
Psychological?
We'll get into that. Can I finish? Okay. We're going to be covering, well, psychological horror anthology of the Unknown, as he narrates the stories of, well, let's get into the explanation and you'll see how it's psychological horror on Lost Heroes of the...
He's not a hero.
Fine. Lost Character of the Golden Age. The Unknown. Original name, not applicable because he is what he is. First appeared in 4 Favorites number 21 in 1946. The original publication is Ace, and he was created by Unknown. He created himself. Yes, there is nobody credited with the creation of the Unknown. The Unknown is an interesting thing here. He replaced the Unknown Soldier, who I've talked about before, in issue 20 of 4 Favorites was the last issue of the Unknown Soldier, and then that is when the Unknown would take over. A lot of people think that these are the same people, and I can understand, since the Unknown Soldier is not a real person, just a collection of ideals of people with patriotism, and the Unknown isn't technically real either. I can understand how people would make that connection, but I don't think they're the same person. Now, the Unknown was a narrator of stories of what was considered a horror anthology. Now, the kind of horror I think that they were doing was psychological horror, because I thought that this was more of a crime wrapped up in justice being served than I thought it was horror, because people would kill others and then they would have served justice in the end in unusual and unexplainable circumstances, which I will get into. It showed that justice always prevails. The Unknown was a narrator. He didn't interfere with the stories. He did talk directly to the people that were in the stories on many occasions, but they could not hear him because he is just telling a story of what has happened, much in the way that the Watcher would narrate stories that he saw in the What If comic books. Couldn't interfere, but voiced his opinion while things were happening. So let's go ahead and cover the first issue, and then we'll review some of the other issues where you can see why I think it would be more of a crime drama with a serving of justice than a horror. But that's a determination that you can make on your own when you see what we have. Let's get going with the first appearance. we start off with this giant snake, and no, that won't play a part into the story. Not that one, anyways. So we start with the Unknown introducing himself. I am the Unknown. No man has ever seen me, yet I see all men. And woe unto those whose evil hearts lead them to trespass into the realm where I reign supreme. Let me tell you a story to illustrate my remarks. This concerning 3 men who went exploring in the jungle of a small Latin American country and dared scoff at the unknown. So we do cut to 3 men in these jungle helmets being led by another man who we can just assume to be an El Salvadorian. He leads them to the location and says that he will go no farther, which, if you ever known people in cursed lands, they will only ever go so far. As he decides to walk away and leave the men to their fate, one of the men shoot them in the back so that the El Salvadorian won't notify the other villagers. They proceed into the temple, and they are making remarks about not believing in the snake goddess curse. They take the gem from the center or the forehead of the snake goddess. Upon doing this, an inexplicable bolt of lightning comes out of nowhere, and one of them swears that the statue has moved. And he's like, no, you're imagining things, it was just a freak jungle storm. And they walk outside. It's a clear sunny day, so obviously a storm has not happened. One of the men becomes terrified and decides to run off into the jungle. He meets his fate with a python that crushes him. The other 2 men come up, and they notice that the python has crushed them, and the guy in purple shoots the python 3 times, but the bullets had no effect. This may be the work of the snake goddess. So they decide to run off, and they encounter a cobra. Now, the man in purple does not get bitten, but the other man does. The man in purple exclaims that cobras don't exist in this part of the world, and he can't understand where it came from. Now, the one bitten pleads with the man in purple to take him back to the village, and he's like, you're on your own. I'm not going to help you out of here. Don't leave me, Mike. So the man in purple is Mike. As he wanders through the jungle, he finds his way to the end of it and says that he sees that the town is below him. And then what happens? He is confronted by the snake goddess herself. She says that she is searching for a friend, which I don't understand why that needed to be part of the story, because she's not talking about him. She says she's looking for a little peon named Jose who acts as a guide for strangers. Oh, okay. She's referring to the guide at the beginning that Mike had shot so he wouldn't go warn the villagers. And then she says, there's something else I'm seeking and belongs to me, and she's referring to the diamond. And then he recognizes that this is the snake goddess, that the statue has come to life. He says that he doesn't want the gem anymore and offers it back to her. At that point, he trips and falls, and this seals the fate of all 3 men. And there's some closing narration from the Unknown. Yes, I am the Unknown, and it may be interesting to know that the diamond once more enshrined in the head of the snake goddess. Thus end the lives of the 3 men who dared laugh at the legends of things unknown, and now I too return to the unknown. Now, a lot of the tales would revolve in the same way. Now, the first couple of issues, the Unknown seems to be a corporeal yet behind the scenes being. In the later issues, he seems to be an incorporeal ghost. And if you're not familiar with that, incorporeal is not of flesh and blood, still alive, but existing in some sort of non-tangible form. And he seems to take a more active role in the narrations of the later stories. And like the first issue, you only see him at the beginning and the end. In the second issue, he pops up as each of the men that are dying do that. And then in the stories, he takes a more active role trying to talk to people who can't acknowledge his presence because he is just a storyteller. Now, all of the stories seem to go in the same way. People commit unspeakable acts. Some people are accused of these acts, and then they are found to be not guilty because they didn't do it. But everybody seems to meet their fate of justice in the end, and justice comes in many different ways. And I think that's what makes this a horror anthology. It's just more psychological than it is physical. You don't get ghost zombies, but it does make you think about what you're doing. To me, it seems more like crime with a serving of justice in the end. Somebody robs a bank and he ends up getting his deals in the end. One commits murder and ends up dying by his own hands. But it seems like every story that the Unknown narrates, whoever has committed a crime, which is usually always murder, usually, ends up meeting their own demise at their own hand by the end. And that's basically the story of the Unknown. There's no real powers beyond the ability to storytell and show us stories that would make us regret doing that of evil deeds because we'll end up dying by our own hands. And that does it for this episode of Lost Heroes of the Golden Age. I hope you enjoyed the character other than a hero this time. So, Halloween, Vader, Spider-Man, maybe something different. Until next time, I'll be seeing you.